Hello, this is Sheshachalam from Astrology Mysore. So today we are discussing about three houses, the 10th house, the 11th house and the 12th house and their significations with regard to medical astrology. The 10th house peculiarly is placed on the organ knee, the knees of a person, and the part behind it also, which has a very important part to do, and which is nowadays called as the second heart, that is the varicose valves. The varicose valves, which actually pump the blood from our feet and our calf muscles and our thighs, and it pumps up to our heart for reoxygenation, is in this particular region, the 10th house. So the points which are included here are joints, joint displacement, inflammation, um, depletion, difficulty of wear and tear, replacement, total knee replacement, or medications on the knee, because these are the most important parts of the body, joints, which actually get a lot of wear and tear today because of obesity. So the planet which is a cause for obesity, that is Jupiter and Rahu, are also to be seen to understand whether there is a wear and tear going to happen in the future. So when you are doing diagnosis, you can't simply go take one point and open it up and see whether this is what is the problem. No, you have to go backwards. So when you are doing diagnosis of medical astrology, you have to take Varshapala technique. So one by one, for every year, you will have to understand the transit, the dasha bhuktis, and again go to the next year. So doing this on a regular call for consultations is so tough. But when we are doing it for analysis of a chart, before the call happens, an astrologer will have to go through all this in detail, and after every year of Varshapala, he will come to know whether it is deteriorating or he is recovering. So after that, only then he can come to this particular point of year and tell what is the intensity of the problem. Simply can't jump to one point from the birth chart and then tell this is what is happening. So the aging, the process of aging has to be understood from the progressive charts. So bursitis is also another problem which comes because of the bursa. There is a small part in front of the knee called as bursa, and that particular thing gets some fluid gets inflammation. Because of the inflammation, there will be swelling and it will be very painful. Bursitis, and I have gone through it personally, so I know it is very, very painful. And the varicose veins. The varicose veins are the problems which come because of the valve not fully functioning. We'll call it malfunctioning, or inferior strength because of very lethargy or sedentary lifestyle. A person doesn't do walking at all. So walking is the one which actually you know gives you a lot of muscle strength in the calf muscles. The calf muscles in turn will start giving you that squeezing effect on the veins, which is actually helps the valves to function properly. So if it doesn't function properly, you will have to go to the doctor, get a Doppler's test done, then use stockings, or then go for the removal of the veins. Removal of the veins is a very painful process. It's not a process of pain when the pain is removed, but even before the veins are removed, the person will be having difficulty standing in one place. And after the veins are removed, the subsidiary veins, until they take up the job, it will be so difficult for a person to stand and do their job. It's painful, because I have been associated with many people who have had varicose veins, and one of my friends who was in my earlier company where I was working, he was overweight, had got both his varicose veins removed, the main veins. It was a tough time for him, because he was a person who had to stand 6 hours in a day, because he was a floor engineer. Now, the guy who takes care of the whole floor. So people who are having occupational difficulties, and if they come into this particular problem of varicose, it's very difficult. People who are continuously standing, like policemen, like gatekeepers, like doorkeepers, chauffeurs, people who are continuously standing, like teachers, lecturers. There are many, many jobs where people will have to stand. Even in shop floors, the floor managers, the floor executives, the shop floor staff, they need to stand. Sales girls, salesmen, I am bewildered to see them. Whenever I go them, I keep asking them that, do you get time to sit? They tell no, there is nothing to sit here. They have lifted all the chairs. We don't have any stools or chair to sit. So it's a painful thing to know that people are going through so many hardships because the occupational hazard. Varicose veins usually develops slowly, and by the time they are out of that company and they are doing something else, they will go through it, and they cannot claim a single pie from anybody anywhere. So going to the 11th house. So the remedial measure for this particular house, the 10th house, is walking. I have not given remedial measures at all. Remedial measures will be given later with certain other factors also, not only one particular remedial measure. But anyway, for the 10th house, the remedial measure is squatting and walking. Squatting is one of the remedies because you need to know how to squat. It's not that you are doing sit-ups or with weights. You should know how to squat. Sit down on the floor with your knees up. No squatting. Just check how to squat in YouTube. So the 11th house consists of calf muscles and the shin bone, the bone which is in front. Very painful when you get hit there because it's a very tough bone, but it's very painful when you get hit because when we were playing, the leather ball, when we were playing cricket, would come and hit our shin bone, then it would be like the whole day sitting and crying. So the left ear is also seen in the 11th house as per the medical astrological theory. You can go back to the class number 1. You will understand all parts of the body. The left ears fall there. So problems of the shin bone and calf muscles are not much, but the usage is very high because, as I said, if the calf muscles are weak, the varicose problem can come faster in life. And the shin bone is weak, there is a easy chance that you will not have a straight leg. You will have difficulties, the arched leg, the bow leg. So these problems also can arise. Going to the 12th house, the feet and the toes and the ankle, these three parts, very important parts for sports people. All these 10th, 11th and 12th houses are extremely important for sports persons and people who are having jobs which are related to this. For example, let us say we had been to West Bengal last week. So we saw a lot of rickshaw pullers there. A sad state that they have to earn their living and they don't know anything else, but they have to cycle the rickshaws. It's a cycle rickshaw, I'm telling, not the rickshaw puller who runs. That is also there. God bless. I don't know how those people are working. God bless them. So the rickshaw pullers, imagine that fellow, has an ankle, tendon tear. What will that fellow eat for a month? I have seen many people strapping their ankles with, whatever cloth they get because they don't have money to go and buy a strap bandage. They don't have that money for a sprain bandage. So they, wrap it and tie it with the cloth, and they are still pulling the rickshaws because if you don't pull the rickshaw, you don't get that 50 rupees or 50 bucks with which three people can have their meal a day. This is the state of poverty in certain places in India and many other countries also. Don't think that America is rich. There are many, many people who are below the poverty line even in America. Though it's a country where the dollar is ruling the world, it is still very clearly seen that there are many people who do not have a place to live. They live on roads, and People who go through fractures, who go through problems of infection to the toes, can start getting problems of a major problem which is known as gangrene. This is a very tough and dirty disease, an infection through which amputations of the toes can happen. And this is also directly related because, as a catalyst, the diabetes will become a catalyst. When you get hurt, it doesn't heal properly. And when it doesn't heal properly, the pus or the infection will start going inside the muscles, the body cavity, and start infecting one after the other toe, and it will start going into the body. So the diabetes cannot be reduced immediately, and this cannot be cured immediately. And finally, what happens? The amputation starts. I have seen this closely at my place because um, my father's elder brother had got his three toes amputated only because he had high sugar for 40 years and his gangrene had started. But anyway, he did not die because of that. But the pain, the pain to walk without the toes, the pain to walk without an ankle. God bless and save this people from pain. Because I have seen these things personally and observed it. Now I can relate it to the chart. So the left eye is also seen from the 12th house, because the second eye is seen the second house shows you the right eye. The 12th house indicates the left eye. As the left ear is for the 11th house, the right ear is for the third house. The hearing ability and the sight can be seen from 12 and 11, and also 2 and 3. So this is how we need to understand how medical astrology can give us an insight into primary diagnosis. I will not go into the whole of the diagnosis only from the houses, because the rashis, the tattvas, the Agni, Prithvi, Vayu, Jala, the tattvas, the nakshatra and the organs, the nakshatra tattvas, and then the lordships, the planet, the planetary tattvas, all this put together, you will be able to do diagnosis with the aging, the process, the Varshapala technique, the intensity. All this has to be understood wholesome, not with one single class. So thank you very much for today's class.